Now is the time. Time for ice cream. Ice cream time. It's ice cream time with Lions Mane. Ice cream time with Lions Mane.
When Master Maze meets Blondie Butter, wham! It's Butter Kiss. Butter Kiss on sale now.
Hello and welcome to PC Support TV. You join me here in the conference centre at the Microsoft International Headquarters in Redmond in the USA, and I'm here in a room full of most valuable professional awardees from all over the world. So who do we have? Who do we have MVPs from the Americas? What about MVPs from Asia and the Far East? We got any? Yeah, we've got some of those. MVPs from Europe? Woo! Although we can see the Brits quietly nodding in the background. So we're here today to talk about community help and tutorial video production. But this being the MVP Summit, there is one sticky topic we always have to deal with first, the NDA. Please remember that the content of this session is only for YouTube. Indeed, I'm recording this session currently, and it will be available on YouTube afterwards so that all MVPs can see it if they want. Now, you may have noticed, I might have mentioned, that I've got over $19,000 of prizes to give away in the next hour and a half. So these include 10 copies of Sony Vegas Pro Suite, 10 one-year subscriptions to the full Adobe Creative Cloud, a JVC prosumer video camera worth $1,000, and a 420GB PCIe Enterprise class solid-state disc worth $2,000. And there are some extra surprises come later on in the session. So I've got $19,000 in total. So let's get started. We'll begin by looking at the presentation skills required to create really good and engaging community video. Next up, we'll explore the different editing and production software, both free and paid for, that you can use to create your own videos. In part 3, we'll look at some other techniques, including using cameras and audio recording equipment. And lastly, we'll look at some tips and tricks of the trade on how you can create really fantastic videos for your viewers. So let's get started. The basis of creating good and engaging help and tutorial videos for the user community is your presentation skills. Now, how many people in the room today have given a talk to a user group? Almost everybody in the room. How many people have given a talk at a larger conference such as TechEd? Almost everybody in the room. I am in very esteemed company today. One of the things that's often said to me is it's very different talking to a room full of people than it is talking to direct to camera. So let's have a look at how we actually get started with planning and presentation. Planning is obviously where we begin. It's the most important part. What is it that you want to say? Who are your target audience? Not just who are they geographically, or what subjects are they interested in, what level are they going to be at within that subject, what sort of person are they? Are they consumer? Are they an IT pro? Are they likely to be a technical person or non-technical person? Who are they? How do you need to say what you say? Because the type of people that you're talking to will determine how you need to present your message to them. And how are you going to break this all down? How are you going to make it easy for them to understand? Timing is extremely important. I always suggest to people that your videos should be 3, 5, not really any longer than 10 minutes. Are there any teachers in the room? Anybody who's taught? There's a fair few of you. You will know that after a period of time, people will begin to drift off. It's a perfectly natural human reaction. So if you can keep things short, sweet, then not only are you helping to keep people's attention, but you're also encouraging them to watch, because people may only have a short amount of time. There's also only a certain amount of information that they can actually take in and absorb. So if you keep your videos shorter, they're more likely to retain that information. So can you break it down if it's a big subject? Can you break it down into several different videos? Can you make kind of like a mini course out of it? If you're doing, talking about a subject such as Exchange, can you deal with setup, migration, other subjects in different videos? So with the actual recordings themselves, and this is something I will come back to because it is very important, try and keep any segments that you record under 3 minutes. And there are several reasons for this, including reducing the need for retakes if you say the wrong thing or if something goes wrong. And using short segments, again, helps make sure that if you need to update information, you can, and you can just slot it in. Don't make any assumptions about your audience. You don't know who they are. They could be absolutely anybody. You might be an IT pro, and you're talking about Windows deployment, and there might be somebody watching your video who is a complete noob, who wants to get involved in this. So don't make assumptions. I mean, pitch it correctly for your broad audience, but don't make assumptions about who they are. Don't make assumptions about where in the world they are, about what language they speak. And again, maybe split the lesson into beginner, intermediate, advanced, different levels. Speaking of where in the world people are, there are people in this room from all over the world. They need to be able to understand what you're saying. So you need to be clear. Don't speak too quickly. Slow it down so that people know what you're talking about. If you're also talking too quickly, then if you're demonstrating something, if you're doing like a screencast using Camtasia or other similar software, then what you're showing someone on screen might appear and disappear too quickly. So slow down and give people time. They will be from all across the world. Find your keynote. We all recognise that man. I think he works for Apple. You're going to be giving an address to an audience of hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of people. and find your voice within the context of the subject that you're speaking of. Don't talk as though you're speaking to someone one-to-one. It has to be a broad discussion. You have to talk as though you're speaking at an event such as this to a wide range of people. If you're talking direct to camera and talking as though you're talking one-to-one, there's a temptation to lower your voice, make it a bit more chatty, and make it a bit more informal. If people watching videos, chatty and informal doesn't really work. It doesn't get to the point of what you're trying to say. And use all of your enthusiasm. With presentation skills, some people find that they might be really nervous. Some of you may have tried this. Who's already made videos? Quite a few of them. Quite a few of you. Who hasn't made videos but it's definitely on your list today? And who feels nervous when you're making a video? Yeah. Nerves are very common, and they'll come out in unexpected ways. You may speak too slowly, you may speak far too quickly, you may gabble so that people can't understand you. You also may miss parts. Again, back in the planning, you could make yourself a script. Maybe not a word-for-word script, although sometimes these can actually be, they can be useful, but they can also be counterproductive because you're looking at a script, you're also trying to look at what you're doing on the screen, and it can cause problems for you, it can slow you down. But you can make yourself bullet points. Do not forget. This again feeds back into the keeping your segment short, because if you forget to include something, and we all do, you can re-record it afterwards and you can slot it in at the appropriate point. Again, if you do forget something and you don't or you can't re-record it, there are still things you can do. You could put a slide up with that information as text and make it look like you'd intended to do that. There's all sorts of ways to make it look like you've actually intended to do something when, you know, really it's kind of by accident. I mentioned earlier that people will begin to drift off after 5 minutes. You have to do things to try and wake them up. You'll notice I'm doing it here. There's little video segments now and again. The cinema trailers at the beginning, because just to get you bright and alert after last night's attendee party and all of the alcohol. You will generally, if you're just talking to someone and there's nothing, talking to a group of people, there's nothing to break it up, and the things don't change so that you recapture people's attention, you will lose them completely after 20 minutes. Has anyone been in that position where somebody has been delivering a PowerPoint to you at work, and after about 10-20 minutes you have been completely asleep and you haven't paid any attention? Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
So as I say, you can mitigate this. You can use a variety of techniques. You can insert a slide just with text on instead of your screen capture to give people something to read and wake them up. You can jump to something completely different, like a video segment. You can even do something like, put a bit of background music in. All these things help wake the user up. And these are all the things, for those of you who teach, you will know already that you will do these in the classroom because they will keep people alert. Again, recording short segments. It reduces the risk of making mistakes. It reduces the risk of having to retake things. Video production can be time consuming. It can be tremendous fun. I love it. I do it because getting involved in all the editing and the post-production is fun. I love it. It's much better than doing the actual filming part. And if you segment the video by recording shorter segments, you can update it later on. if something changes, let's say you're making a video about a beta product, something changes for the RTM, then you can just re-record that segment and you can slot it in. And if you're doing something like a screen capture, it makes it a lot easier to do. You haven't got to worry about cameras and lighting and things like that. Again, if you're demonstrating commands, who here will make videos demonstrating things like PowerShell or scripting or other commands like that? Yeah, a few. When you're doing a live demo, if you're in Visual Studio, say, and you're doing a live demo, you'll type in, it's actually very easy to mistype something and for it to actually make it into the final video. And then you see what you've done, you've mistyped it, it's made it into the final video, you haven't spotted it at the time, you've got to re-record the damn thing because it's now wrong. There are ways around this. You could, for instance, retype it in advance, then record whilst you're talking over it so that people can see the entire thing all of the time whilst you're explaining it to them. You could do what I'm doing here. This is using a service called Powtoon, which I will talk about a little bit later. I've got some surprises for you. To create animations, or you can just use PowerPoint. You can put it on a PowerPoint slide or any other software that you choose, just so that people can see clearly what it is you want them to type. And be one with your audience. Maintain consistency in your look and feel. Use one font, use just a couple of colours. Anyone who's worked in design will know about maintaining consistency. We've got I think we've got an intruder in the back. It's Clippy, everybody. Clippy is here. Come on, Clippy, come on stage, Clippy. Come on, don't be shy. Come up here, buddy. What are you doing here? Get on the steps, Clippy. What's that? You can see I'm trying to give a presentation. Really, what gave it away? You've got a message for the audience. But Clippy, you can't talk. I'm quite impressed. So what's your message? You've got a girlfriend? I dread to ask, and who? I'm sure you'll be very happy. So what's the message? Video is indeed watched everywhere. Can you give us some examples? Here we have woman at the airport watching video on, it's an iPad, but we'll skip lightly over that one. Who else? Yeah, a group of friends watching video on their laptop. I don't know what they're watching, probably watching Friends. So yeah, they're watching it. Actually, in fairness, Clippy, I think that couple's watching something else. People do indeed love watching video. Yeah, absolutely right. And it's a good man, you can reach many more people than you might expect to. Clippy, I didn't realise you were going to be here. Would you come back later and present the prizes? Who would like Clippy to come back later and present the prizes? Come back and join us in a while. Wonderful Clippy, everybody. Who knew he was so talented? So once you've planned, once you've bulleted what you're going to say, once you've written out what it is that you need people to type, and once you've recorded your short segments so that you can re-record if necessary or amend things if anything changes, what are you going to produce it in? So I want to detail some of the options here of things, of software packages that you can use. We'll start with PowerPoint. PowerPoint's free for MVPs, from $6.99 a month, Office 365. Or if anybody's given a webcast, then you will probably have had PowerPoint running in the background, and you'll be talking over your slides. I started with Windows Movie Maker. My first videos were produced in Windows Movie Maker. It's a very straightforward, single-track solution over which you can play music, over which you can put a voice track, and that includes typing effects and includes fade and other effects. It's actually very effective. Audacity, if you need to edit your audio, a free open source package you can download from just about anywhere. Camtasia Studio, who uses Camtasia Studio? Almost everybody. It's free for MVPs, so I might get reasonable for that. It's very popular. There's almost nothing to challenge it. It's an extremely useful piece of software, and it can package the videos for you as well. Sony Movie Studio. Now remember, I've got a couple of Sony Vegas Pro to give away. Sony Movie Studio is its little baby brother or sister. It's very cheap. You can pick it up for $35, and it has most of the functionality that's in Sony Vegas Pro. It's actually fully featured. Before I moved to Sony Vegas Pro, I was using Sony Movie Studio. I was really impressed with it. You can do a great deal with it as well, and it's really cheap. Then there's Vegas Pro. 10 copies of this to give away today. 10 of you will walk away with a copy of Sony Vegas Pro 13 Suite, which only came out about 3 months ago. Fully featured package, equivalent to Adobe Premiere Pro. I use it for all of my videos. All the videos that you've seen here today were produced in Sony Vegas Pro. Except for the special effects title stuff, which was done in After Effects. Speaking of After Effects, Adobe Creative Cloud. Anybody use Creative Cloud? You can't win a copy. I've got 10 annual subscriptions to Creative Cloud to give away. You've got Premiere Pro, After Effects, so much more. And you'll be surprised how you might be able to use these things as well. I'll talk about this shortly. Additional resources, videomaker.com. Videomaker magazine is a US magazine, but you can get subscriptions internationally. I subscribe to it. They make a series of training DVDs on just about everything. I bought quite a few myself. They have online video tutorials. They really are the experts. They're a small independent magazine publisher based in California. And if you live in, does anybody live in California? Yeah, a few of them. A few of you do. They also do their own training courses and training events at their centre. I can't remember exactly where it is. California's not very big, is it? No. Powtoon. Now you can see a Powtoon animation here. Powtoon is a web-based service. Does anybody already know about and use Powtoon? There's a couple of you, yeah. It creates in a kind of PowerPoint-esque interface animations, kind of similar to Flash, but all the resources are already there, all the shapes and the styles, and everything is already there.
Is it free or does it cost money?
There is a free version. The videos are watermarked. There is obviously a paid-for version, but hang on, wait on that, because I might have some news. Videoblocks.com, I can't recommend highly enough. You'll have seen at the beginning of this a blue swirly animation in the background. Video Blocks does, and the new sister site, Audio Blocks, they've recently split the video and the audio into two websites, provide video and audio royalty-free downloads. They are so good that I got the Microsoft marketing team interested in them yesterday. The number of audio and video resources on Video Blocks number in the hundreds of thousands. There's everything from animated backgrounds to locations to virtual sets, everything you can need, sound effects, short periods of music, long full songs, everything is there. And one of the advantages of Video Blocks is that if you let your subscription lapse, your license to use the content continues. So once you've downloaded it, so become a member, download as much as you can during your membership. Actually, Video Blocks are going to watch this, aren't they? No, I can edit that out. Now you watch me forget to do that. Pond 5 as well. Oh, I forgot to mention After Effects. Now my titles here, the Masterclass titles that you can see, were produced in After Effects. I don't know how to use After Effects, but from Video Blocks and from Pond 5 you can download templates for title sequences and more that people have already created, and they have created in such a way that that it's easy for even someone with my limited skills to put your own logo in, to add your own music in, to change the imagery. They're really good. If you don't have a copy of After Effects to create your identity with, if you want to create one, don't forget there is still a 30-day trial of Creative Cloud that you can download, so you can use that. Pond 5, similar to Video Blocks, but an even broader selection of audio and video. Really fantastic stuff on Pond 5. They've got absolutely everything. Their videos are on a pay-as-you-go basis, and prices start from about $5, so they're really cheap. So, we've looked at presentation, we've looked at your software, now let's have a look at the hardware. Now, in this room today, I've got 3 video cameras going. I have a 4K camera right dead center. I'll explain why shortly. There is a full HD prosumer, in fact one of these JVC cameras that I'm giving away in the back, and there's another camera over here. I'm using 3 cameras on this in this environment today because as I'm recording this, I recognise that if somebody's going to be watching this video, if it's just a dead shot of me pacing back and forth on this podium, they'll get bored and they'll switch off. So I can periodically switch to a different view. It's what I mentioned earlier about waking people up. You can use anything. iPhones, sorry, we're on Microsoft, I didn't mean to swear. Has anybody got an iPhone? Anybody really got an iPhone and sort of like not prepared to? iPhones are extremely popular with amateur movie makers, and even some more professional movie makers, because the camera is really good, but also because the quality of the apps that are available for video production are very extensive. So you can use one of those. I have a Lumia 1020 Windows phone. That's got a fantastic camera on it. It's better than the iPhone. Yeah, the Lumia 1020. Who's got a Lumia 1020? About the same number of people who have an iPhone, so that's good. So that's extremely good. Are there any Office 365 MVPs in here? Damn you. They were all given GoPros. GoPro, the GoPro Hero 4, the newer one, which I think is the one that you were all given. You got the 3. I feel better. See, how did I know when I put this together? How did I know? The new camera can do 4K, 15 frames a second, which is quite enough. Does anybody do courses for online companies such as Pluralsight? Really? So a few of you. Lots of these companies will only put out their videos in 15 frames a second in order to make sure that they buffer well when people are watching them online. So that's fine. Also, the GoPro is a fantastic camera already. It's useful for so many things, but it can be used for recording your own videos. Who's got a digital SLR? Digital SLRs can record up to 30 minutes of video. They can never record more than 30 minutes of video. Apparently it's a tax thing, because then they become a video camera and they fall into a different tax bracket. Some of the new DSLRs can also record 4K video. The small camera you see at the bottom in the middle, that's very similar to the camera I have over there. It's a standard sort of handycam size. The quality on these things these days is incredible. It's really very, very good. And then we've got the JVC, which again, I'm giving away, a prosumer camera. And if you can really convince your employer or your spouse, your employer to pay for it, or your spouse to give up that holiday in the Maldives, then you can buy a 4K camera, and prices are dropping fast. Now, I've mentioned 4K quite a bit. It does have advantages. I won't be broadcasting this in 4K. I'll be broadcasting this in HD. The reason I have a 4K camera there is so that in post-production I can zoom in and not lose any definition whatsoever. So I can do a full zoom and it's still a full HD picture. So it's a big advantage. So if you have a DSLR or you have a GoPro and you want to record to camera, and I'll explain shortly why this is a good idea in limited amounts, then you can. You'll see the difference there on your screen. Also, has anybody got a 4K PC monitor yet? No? Nobody yet? What about, no, there's somebody there with a 4K PC monitor. Anyone, does anyone have, or is anyone planning to buy the new iMac, the new Retina display iMac? With a 5K screen. The other advantage is that you can then, if you then do a screen capture at that resolution, if you use the desktop scaling, everything is much sharper on your final video. It reduces pixelation. And if you're giving talks at an event like TechEd, if you're giving on a proper cinema screen, cinema screens currently, if you're watching the repeat of this, then this is probably inaccurate. The cinema screen is currently 2.5K. So if you're able to record 4K, then you'll get pin-sharp pictures at these talks and at these events. It makes it so much easier, especially if you're demonstrating Visual Studio or something where you have small menus, toolbars, text, and so on. Sound is very important. Sound is extremely important. Pop filters they're a shield that goes in front of the microphone. They will filter out any noises. When you speak, in general speech, you'll get these popping sounds, and it will filter those out. It also stops your microphone getting covered in. Similarly, if you're shooting outdoors, wind mufflers, you'll see this, if you look at the 4K camera there, you'll see a microphone on the top. That has a wind muffler on it, just reduces noise. Simple barriers can be used to shield microphones, such as a large piece of cardboard or an umbrella, just to shield the wind from a microphone. So if you're standing, let's say you're interviewing someone at at a conference, you're outside the conference hall, you're doing an interview with a PowerShell MVP, God help you. And you can just, if it's a little bit windy, you can just get a big board or an umbrella, shield the microphone to make the sound so much clearer. Radio mics can be problematic, wish me luck. The first one I bought kept losing its signal, so I stopped using them. There is another solution that I'll talk about in a second. Lavalier mics are extremely useful. This is a Lavalier mic on my shirt. You'll see them on television all the time. The audio that you will pick up from a Lavalier mic will be absolutely crystal clear. Absolutely perfect. It won't get background noise. Shotgun mics, again, that's what I've got on top of the camera. They will pick up a certain amount of noise around them, but they're generally, the microphone is aimed directly in front, but there is a radius in which it will pick up other sound, and you may, depending on how far away you are, you might sound a bit echoey, but they're still very good. Wireless mics, I've said they can be tricky to set up. If you buy a cheaper one, like I did, then they can not work really. I bought one that was for Zumba classes. I probably should have realised what I was getting myself into. I didn't get any fitter using it, I'll send it that much. Portable audio recorders. I have one here. You'll see on the table in front of me. This can be used on your desk if you're recording a screencast in Camtasia. This can be used on a table for a meeting. It can be used in an environment such as this, either as your primary audio recorder or as a secondary backup, so that you have your recording going on. And then there's audio syncing. Now, if you're recording to a camera and you have a separate audio source, these things, for instance, can be plugged into a Lavalier mic and clipped onto your belt. But you might find that when you go to edit your video and produce it afterwards, syncing the audio and the video track can be tricky, because on your screen, your preview of the video is only going to be so big, and watching your lips move might be quite hard. So the things you can do, you can buy a clapperboard. They're actually very useful because you can write on information about what take you're doing, or just you have a visual and an audible that will match. The visual you can see, the audible will show up on the audio track as a spike. It's nice and simple, and costs less than a clapperboard. Again, if you're shooting on location, at any point, permissions are necessary. I needed permissions, thank you Paula, for shooting here on campus this week, because I'm shooting content for my Windows 10 videos for sometime in 2015. Sometime. When is it best to film at the location? At the moment, if I was going to go filming outdoors here, I'd need to be finished by about 3:30 in the afternoon, because it's going to start getting dark. Is there going to be a time at location where it's going to be extremely busy? Then a time when it's going to be nice and quiet? What are the best conditions for filming that? And the public are unpredictable. They'll do all sorts of things. Somebody said, who was it who said you'd seen my passwords video the other day? Yes, I thought it was you. You'd have seen in the first segment filmed in the city centre in Sheffield and Yorkshire, where I live. There's people wandering around behind me going, no, it's not staged. Yeah, there's some funny stuff going on. That was take number 8. And I still didn't notice until I was in post-production and it was all done and it was too late to do anything about it. I still didn't notice the subway wrapper on the floor. Yeah. Public are unpredictable. You will have heard the old adage, never work with children or animals. Or PowerShell MVPs. So give yourself plenty of time. You can't aim to go and film, if you're doing an interview with someone or you're recording a segment at a conference, you can't give yourself 15 minutes to do this in. You need to give yourself a full hour because there's setup time, there's making sure that everything is working correctly, that the lighting is fine, that you have all the space that you need, and then there will probably be multiple takes in order to be able to get the footage that you want. Now, talk about some of the other things you can do. Green screen. I'm going to talk about green screen in a bit more depth a little later on. That's my green screen here, you can see set up in my home. It cost me about $100, I bought it on eBay. It came with 2 lights, which you can see with diffuser umbrellas and reflector umbrellas. They're really cheap. If you have, all you need is a bit of green or orange material. Blue really doesn't work. Green or orange material that you can set up, hang from a curtain rail. You can use that. And I'll show you how to do things like this with a virtual studio a little later on, so that you can be a bit more adventurous as and when you want to do so. So, tips and tricks of the trade. Whether you're going to be producing in a webcast with a PowerPoint, whether you're going to be using Camtasia, and I imagine most of you will be using Camtasia, and a lot of this will apply directly to using Camtasia, or whether you want to be more adventurous and start using green screen, special effects, titles, location shooting. What are the tips and tricks that you can use? Audio is always difficult to manage. A lot of you can see, if you're using a camera, for example, or if you're recording on Camtasia, you can see exactly what you're getting. With audio, you can't see that. You have to guess to a certain extent. Shortly before we started, you would have heard me at the back. There is an audio recorder plugged in to this whole audio setup I have here in the conference centre, and I was testing the levels. You will have a level indicator in your editing software. There will be a decibel count. -6 is the point to aim at on this decibel counter, and you'll see in this example, which is from Sony Vegas Pro, that it's green, goes up to yellow and eventually turn amber and red if the audio level is spiking too high, and you will get distortion. Again, there's an audio track here, and you will see the audio levels. You can see where it's loud, you can see where it's quiet, and you can adjust the audio levels in post-production. But setting up those audio levels to begin with can be tricky. These audio recorders have a little screen. They have an audio level here. I can see that that's around about the -6 decibel level on that audio recorder. That's exactly where I need it to be.
Hello, it's me. I'm up here now, brought to you by the magic of television.
Yeah, and cloning.
Yes, all right, and cloning. He's funny, isn't he? I want to talk to you for a minute, that's aside, about background music. Because background music can be used to great effect in videos to emphasise what you're doing and to help keep the viewer engaged, especially if what you're doing goes on a bit. but you need to be very careful with the level. Now, the background music you use might be fantastic and you might really want to emphasize it, but you still need to be able to hear the presenter. And it's a careful balancing act to make sure that the background music can be heard, but that the presenter can still be heard really clearly. So I wanted to make this short video to demonstrate to you some of the problems and pitfalls that you can encounter. Anyway, that's done. You can have him back now.
Thank you. Interloper. Who here has used a bit of software like Flash? Anybody use Flash? A few of you use Flash. What about Photoshop? Quite a few of you use Photoshop. So you'll already be familiar with the concept of layers. You will produce your video, unless you're using something very simple like Windows Movie Maker, but even in Camtasia you can use multiple layers. And you'll see here on this screenshot you've got top layers, which is the video that you will see first, going down to other videos that will appear underneath that on layers. So when you work with your video, when you're producing it, this is actually one of my PC Sport TV videos. Couldn't tell you which one. And you'll see how I put it together. You'll see all the different segments. They're all relatively short. There's a couple of slightly longer ones in the middle, but they're all quite short. They're less than. If we look at the timeline here, I think each one of those vertical lines represents 30 seconds. So there's no video there that's even 2 minutes long. Everything is nice and short. In fact, it may not even be 30 seconds, maybe 15 seconds. So it's all nice and short. So get to know your timelines. As I said, if you've used Photoshop, if you've used Flash, especially if you've used Flash, you'll already be familiar with the timeline. They're very simple concepts. And whatever editing package you use, be it Camtasia, be it Sony Movie Studio, be it Sony Vegas Pro, be it Adobe Premiere Pro, then they will all use timelines in exactly the same way. You may use something else. You may use Final Cut Pro on the Mac. Again, it uses timelines in exactly the same way. Now, zooming is something I like to do a lot. Let's say you're doing a screen capture in Camtasia, and that you're looking at. We've used the Visual Studio example before, so let's stick with that one for now. You've got Visual Studio open. You want people to be able to see throughout the video everything, because you're going to have to show them things in the menus. You're going to have to show them things in the toolbars. You're going to have to show them things in the main screen. So you've got a full 1080 screen capture of Visual Studio. Sometimes all of that extra stuff you have on screen can be just distracting. And it can even make it harder for people to see exactly the one thing you're trying to show them. This is why Camtasia has things like little yellow highlighted circles around the mouse cursor. Personally, I don't like those. I think that they're equally as distracting. But instead, in production, you can zoom in on an aerial. All you're doing is you're placing a marker in that video at a specific point, and you're sort of splitting it into two videos at that point. You're saying, right, okay, for that video, we'll zoom in, which is, you would zoom in exactly the same way as you zoom into a web page, pretty much on your surface. All you're doing is stretching and reducing the size of the video on the screen. So you could zoom, you could show the specific area that you want, such as here where I'm highlighting the app bar in Windows 8.1. Both of these images are from one of my videos. Both of them are full 1080. But one of them highlights what I want
the viewer to see, and the other shows absolutely everything which they may find distracting. Zooming is definitely your friend. Now, layering and masking. This is a little bit more complicated, so I'll spend a little bit more time on it. And this is where we have green. This is where green screen comes in. If you ever want to use green, anybody interested in using green screen? Quite a few of you. Anybody already using green screen? Maybe a teeny bit. Well, I might now. So they might want to use it now. Here I have two videos. They're identical. One is a copy of the other. And what I want to do is I want to highlight a certain area in that video and blur everything else. If you've used Photoshop, you will have used masking. Yeah? So you're masking around areas and you're hiding everything else, or you're hiding things inside the mask. This is what we do here. We cut a mask, like using the Windows snipping tool, cut a mask around the area that we want to show on the top layer, because the top layer is the one that will always be seen. Then the bottom layer we can blur. And what we end up with is a really nice effect of a blurred screen and just a highlight on what we want the viewer to see. So if you were using, you'd need something like Sony Movie Studio to do this. It's nice and easy. You import your Camtasia track, make a single copy of it onto another layer, cut out around one area. Maybe you want to cut out a toolbar, natural top layer, and everything else is sort of blank, sort of like invisible on that layer. And then on the bottom layer, blur things. And you're highlighting what you want the user to see. Another example here is lower thirds. You'll see these on television all of the time, especially on news channels. Lower thirds will pop up and they can be useful for all sorts of things. You can give people additional information. If you're talking, you'll see an example there on the left. If you're talking about a specific command, I've already zoomed into the command prompt here and I'm showing people, but it also pops up a lower third, reminding people what the command format is, but also telling them at the same time what they will use it for. The other useful tool, the other way that lower thirds can be incredibly useful, and a good example of this is the other screenshot on the right, is for telling people something that you simply forgot to say. Because you will forget to tell people things. So there's me, quite happily, in front of my green screen, going jabba 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 jabba, and then remembering afterwards, pop up a lower third. That's actually quite important, I needed to say that. So we'll move on. Hello everybody, it's me again, talking to you from my fantastic television studio in the clouds. Actually, that's not true, I'm talking to you from inside PowerPoint, which is frankly quite disturbing. But I'm here with a green screen. See it? And I want to show you how easy it is for you to use green screen in your own videos. You'll need the chroma key tool, which you'll find in Sony Vegas Pro or Adobe Premiere. And you'll use this and manipulate it in the way you can see on screen now to blank out the uniform or pretty uniform background color that we have. You can double check that you have just the person that you want to appear in the scene by using the mask checker, and you'll see me as a ghost. Okay, I'm not scary, just forget about that. Anyway, once we've completely masked out the background, we can then insert any background that we choose by putting it on the layer below the green screen video. And we now have a custom background. And he's going to put something funny in there, hasn't he? I give up.
It's all he deserves. Here we have an example then of masking away. You can see that I've got two videos. I've got two videos on the timeline here. The top one is a lower third, which you can see on the left, and the bottom one is a nice picture of rolling green hills and bright sunshine, which we've had lots of this week. In the chroma key tool, I have selected on the lower third video, I've selected the colour black to mask, and then you simply have, as some guy demonstrated in the video, a slider or two to mask that colour. And from the green screen, you'll see my own green screen. I don't bother to wire it. I don't bother to wire anything. And you don't need to, because the chroma key tool is very effective. That nice ghost effect, the mask effect, is a little checkbox. And you turn that on, and that will show you clearly exactly what will appear, so that you can look around it and see if there's any little artifacts that you also need to get rid of. I also use blurring slightly. You'll have seen in many of my videos where I'm in my virtual studio, then I will have a slight blurring effect around me, and that's purely because it's helpful. It doesn't really detract from what you're trying to do, but it does make the picture itself look a little bit more full and finished, professional. If you do have any artifact, again, that's an insight into my living room, you can put a mask around yourself, so that only what's in that area, only what's in that square will appear. Now, if you're doing this, do try and find a spot in the video. If you're animated like me and you wave your arms around, try and find a point where you are waving your arms, where they are extended, because otherwise you might find that there's something cuts off. I've done that. And I've gone in, looked at the final thing afterwards and thought, bugger. So this is what you end up with. You end up with 3 layers. In this example here anyway. The layer at the back is Virtual Studio. You then have a layer in front of that, which is a video that I'm showing on the television in the Virtual Studio. And all I've done is I've resized that video to make it smaller and moved it around so it's in the right spot. If you've got a Virtual Studio with a TV screen, then that's not going to move, so you can plonk another video over that. On top of that, I have my green screen layer masked around me and with the green colour removed in the background. It really is that simple. You'd have seen it at the attendee party last night. Green screen. Who did the superhero green screen? The attendee party. What superheroes were you? Captain America, and did we have anyone Superman? Flying. That's all it is. It was easy and simple for Fremont Studios to do this for you at the attendee party last night because it's easy and simple. It's straightforward. There are no great issues with it. So let's look at some more advanced editing tips now. You can add effects. Effects are great. I've already talked about blurring out the background. Here you can see an example. I've used layering and I've used blurring because I want to highlight this pop-out toolbar, and I don't want people distracted by everything else that's on the screen. You can zoom in to toolbars, to menus, to text. If you've got a PowerShell window open, then you don't need to show your full screen. You can zoom in and resize the video. Effectively your video, you're making it bigger, so it fills the full 1080, so that people can see much more clearly what you are showing them and what you are typing. And you can use layering to display items like lower thirds, and green screen techniques are used, as I've demonstrated, on lower thirds, just to mark, because they have to have a background colour, they have to be a full 1080 video. So green screen was used there to mask the background colour, which is normally black. And just by using, I mean, there are many other techniques that you can use, but just by using these three, you can create videos that are much more engaging, that are much clearer and easier and simpler for people to understand and to see exactly what it is you're showing them and what it is you want, the message you want to convey. Titles. I mentioned there are many other. You can get titles on a pay-as-you-go basis, prepaid basis from Pond 5, or you can get them on a subscription basis where you still have a license to use them in perpetuity from video blocks. And there are other websites, for fairness and impartiality, there are other websites. These are all of the titles that I have used over the last few years. These are created using After Effects. The After Effects titles that I've bought have cost from $20 to $80, which is not bad as a one-off cost. It's pretty cheap. And if you want to use the 30-day trial of After Effects, then of course you have a 30-day free trial of Adobe Creative Cloud if you don't win a full year of it shortly. Now music, I want to highlight music. The music you can hear here is from my composer. I'm incredibly lucky. I don't know if anybody watches Click on BBC, which is the BBC's flagship technology program. There's a few nodding heads that thumbs up. The composer of all the music for Click is also my composer, a guy called Clippy Levy. And he's extremely good, and I am extremely lucky. Now, music can really add to, background music can really add to a presentation, but getting the level right can be tricky. I have on many occasions, when making a video, thought this music is really cool, so I put the volume up a little bit too high, because I want people to actually hear the music, and then people fed back to me afterwards, couldn't hear you, dude. So I have to lower it and redo the video. You can use copyrighted music such as songs on occasion. Anybody see, I put a little promo video up for this session on Facebook and Twitter. Anybody see that? Yeah, I think one or two people saw that. That used to track from The Killers in that. I had a look on YouTube beforehand to see if I could use that song. Some music companies will allow you to use copyrighted songs, and they will then place adverts on it, and they will recoup money that way. Now this is good, but it does mean that you can't then place adverts on it, so you can't make money. Other songs I did last year. Did anybody see the montage video I made last year from the November 2013 summit, Clippy being chased down a hall and the like? Yeah. Is anybody here from Germany? Yeah, I apologise, you couldn't watch that. The music that I chose was blocked in Germany. So the video was unwatchable in Germany, so I had to provide a copy of that for the MVP program manager in Germany, so that you could all see it if you wanted to. But if you go to Video Blocks or Audio Blocks as it is now, or Pond 5 or other websites, then you can download and use royalty-free music. If you find music online, you will know this. It's exactly the same as using images online. Do you really know who owns the copyright to these? So it's always best to use stuff that you've got a subscription or pay for. One of them.
Can the music be too low?
The music can be too low, yes. It's finding a happy medium. You'll find commonly that you'll record you'll actually do all the production on a video, and then you'll watch it, and you will notice about a dozen things that you want to go and change. So you'll change all of those things. You'll spend another half an hour rendering the video again, then you'll watch it, and you'll notice 6 more things that you need to change. I will commonly, I've built myself a super fast, very expensive workstation PC just to cut down on the rendering time. I did a 4K video, and it would take, oh god, what was it, 10 minutes to render 1 minute of video on my old PC. On a Core i5, it was a nightmare. Yes?
How do you know if the audio is too soft and you need to make it louder?
You just have to use your gut instinct, really. It's when you're playing it back. A good way to tell whether the audio level is correct is when you're playing it back is to use headphones. If you've got a decent set of headphones, then you'll hear everything clearly, so you'll be able to tell if the audio level is right. Only insofar, for compressing audio, I would only do it insofar as I will use MP3s, which are pre-compressed anyway, for the audio. Yeah?
What do you do to level sound levels between different clips? And there's one program I know, if you've ever used it, called Levelizer.
I haven't heard of Levelizer. But when it comes to leveling audio between clips, when you're looking at the timeline, previously, on a previous slide here, you'll have seen the timeline with the audio spikes shown. You will have a level for that entire track, for that whole video track that you can pull down if you need to, and then you will see the spikes compress, and you can just check across your video if it's generally uniform. Takes practice. Not much, but takes a little bit of practice.
I just added that sometimes it lies, you still have to wear headphones and listen to it, because I'm always adjusting things because they don't sound right. In the end, between two that look exactly the same.
Yeah, sometimes you have to listen to it, sometimes you've got to stick your headphones on, you've got to produce it, you've got to listen to it. In fact, I would say that this is almost always the case. You've got to check it. I'm notorious for making the music too loud.
But you don't use any software to do that?
No, well, I'll do that in Sony Vegas Pro.
No, but if you have 2 different clips, and they're from 2 different audio sources, you don't run them through one program to level the audio sources out.
I can do, yeah. You can use Audacity or SoundForge Pro if you use the Sony solution. You can modify your audio there. Maybe you might want to add a bit of reverb to it. You know, reduce or increase the overall volume. There are other things you can do. Now, there'll be a little bit more time for more questions at the end. Don't publish immediately. There is a temptation, you've got your video, you're so pleased with it. I've been so pleased with some of my videos, I really have. So like, all my friends hate me. So like, I made a video, come and have a look at this. No. I've gotten used to that. Even the dog ignores them. Show it to someone else, if you can find someone else willing to sit through your videos. Maybe get a peer review if there's someone you work with or a fellow MVP you can send a link to, put it up on YouTube in private, and ask them to have a look at it. You don't know what mistakes or errors might have crept in. You don't know what you might have missed. You don't know whether you might have got the audio right. So it's the same as if you're writing a book, if you're publishing a paper, write it, stick it in a drawer. Well, best stick your computer in a drawer, well, unless it's Surface, you can do that. Leave it overnight, come back to it with a fresh pair of eyes, and look at it again critically, just to see if anything is wrong or anything is missing. Now, you've got your video, what are you going to do with it? There are various distribution options you don't really want to host it yourself because the bandwidth costs are very expensive. YouTube and Vimeo are the best ones. And I just wanted to highlight for you what the benefits of each one are. With YouTube, you've got full 1080 video, and indeed, you've got 4K support as well. I have one 4K video up on YouTube, and it's only there because it's a passwords, creating secure passwords video, and it's going to be around for ages. And as you see with things like the new iMac, screen resolutions are getting larger already. So you may find that if you get a 4K monitor, you have a 4K monitor. Then if you're recording in Camtasia, why not record it in 4K and put it out in 4K? Because then it's got a bit more longevity for those people with higher DPI screens. Even if you have someone who has a newer tablet, these tablets are coming with far higher than full HD screens. So there are advantages to doing this already. There is no completely advert-free experience on YouTube because there's always adverts around your video, if you don't have adverts on it. And you can live stream on YouTube in the same way you can live stream with some Microsoft services as well, I'd better say, because they've probably got spy cameras hidden in the corners. And you can embed your videos in your own website or in other blogs as well. Vimeo is quite a different proposition. Vimeo is used more extensively by filmmakers. There is a completely ad-free experience. If you want full 1080, it doesn't support 4K yet. If you want full 1080, you have to pay for it. But one of the advantages of Vimeo is that you can actually charge people to watch your videos. You can set a price, and people can pay through their Vimeo account to watch your videos. So if you don't want, I put adverts on my video, I make a little bit of money, not a huge amount. I have to make enough to pay the electricity bill every month. And if you don't want to do that, if you'd rather put a course in, and of course this brings me back to creating shorter videos. If you create shorter videos, you can charge people more money to watch them. Then Vimeo allows you to do this. Vine doesn't support any of that, but my God, it's a good way to promote your videos. If you want to make a little 15-second clip, then you can put that out on Vine, and you can use it.
6 seconds, right?
Why
is it only 6 seconds?
6 seconds, yeah.
Instagram has 15 seconds, by the way.
That's it, Instagram. Yes?
YouTube has pay-per-view as well.
Right, okay, that's for the update. YouTube, pay-per-view.
But I think nobody uses it.
All right. That's probably why. If nobody uses it, then that's probably why.
There's a really big, but you have to have like first like 10,000 or 100,000 viewers for your channel for free, and then you can change it to a pay.
Yeah, you have to have a lot of viewers, and I'm not at that level yet. It's very, very difficult. You have to relax. You have to enjoy what you're doing. If you're presenting to camera or if you're talking over a Camtasia presentation, you need to be relaxed. You need to remember that you're talking to people from all over the world. People of different languages, people of different educational levels, people of different technical abilities. You have no idea who these people are going to be. And you will make a better video, and they will understand what you're saying or what you're showing them much more if you're relaxed, if you don't worry about it. If you've given plenty of talks to user groups, and almost all of you have spoken at a user group, then you'll know, just relax. In fact, the last talk I gave at a user group was part of a Windows user group that I'm involved with in the UK. Gave a talk on Windows 10 to a room full of 100 people, and I just asked the question, who in the room uses Linux? And 25 people put their hand up. I suppose that's a good thing. They wanted to find out about Windows 10, so you don't know who they're going to be. So relax. Take pleasure in making your videos. Doing all the post-production stuff, I love it. It's brilliant.
I couldn't enjoy it more. I can stay up all night doing that. So what I'm going to show you now is a short video that demonstrates all of the things that I've been talking about this morning. Everything from special effects, green screen, over thirds, virtual studios, zooming, all of the other things. That MVP sequence, by the way, you saw the MVP logo. It needs a little bit of polish. I haven't had time to put the final bit of polish to it. But if anybody does want a copy of that, then let me know. Drop me an email, and I'll let you have it. Now, I promised some surprises today. I mentioned Powtoon. Now, I use Powtoon. That clip you saw of the man banging his laptop on his head, that's Powtoon. It's great, not just for using in videos, but for spicing up a company presentation. Powtoon have very kindly given us a 50% off discount on their business plan. So for full year, $342 instead of $684. Use promo code 50. In addition to that, I mentioned video blocks earlier, didn't I? Where you can download virtual studios, animated backgrounds, locations, audio files, After Effects templates, and more. Powtoon, and I am extremely grateful to them for doing this, have given you 90% off for a full year. Just $99 instead of $948 of unlimited downloads. I do highly recommend video blocks.
Is this the one which also the license lives on after you like?
Yes. Yes. That is why I highly recommend it. This web service is fantastic.
Is that for all of these or only people in this room?
This is primarily for the people in this room, but you can pass the code on to other MVPs. Is there another question? No? Right. So, this brings us on to the small matter of prizes. I have today got 10 copies of Sony Vegas Pro 13 Suite to give away, 10 one-year subscriptions to Adobe Creative Cloud. In addition, I've got 10 Powtoon Professional 12-month accounts to give away. Then there are 2 grand prizes.
There's one grand prize of Sony Vegas Pro, Adobe Creative Cloud, and a $1,000 JVC ProStreamer video camera. I love this camera. I specifically asked for it. I've used it myself for the last 2 years. It's one of the best purchases I've ever made. And another grand prize of Sony Vegas Pro, Adobe Creative Cloud, alcohol pouting, and a $2,000 PCIe SSD enterprise class. It was designed for use for things like oil and gas companies for the huge numbers that they have to crunch, but it's also used by special effects companies, including the company that does the effects for Doctor Who. It is incredibly fast. I did a test. I've got one of those in my own PC. In my workstation, I've got a super fast SSD. I copied a 4 GB ISO file onto each and then made a copy of that file onto the same drive. On the SSD, it took 4 seconds to copy. On my regular hard drive, it took 10 seconds to copy. And on the FusionIO card, I just saw the copy dialog appear and disappear. It is that fast. And one of you today will walk away with this. So, there's been a lot of speculation about how I'm going to distribute the prizes. Now, it's slightly fiddly. There's going to be slightly by way of a treasure hunt, because I didn't know how many people were going to attend here today. But if you have won a prize, I'll wait for Andrew to sit down. If you've won a prize, you got that prize the moment you arrived in the room, because the prizes are under your seats. If you won a prize, there's an envelope under your seats. Now, there are some further back. So let's go on a scavenger hunt. There are 26 winners in this room today. If you won a prize, there will be a little slip. I do ask if you can fill in. If you want a copy of Sony Vegas Pro, then bring it up, and I will present you with your product code. If you want a copy of Adobe Creative Cloud, then bring your slip up, and Adobe will contact you with your freebie. If you want a Powtoon prize, then come up here and I have a code for you to use to activate your free Powtoon account. And if you want a grand prize, now I seem to remember somebody said he was returning to do some prize giving. There he is, Clippy! Come on, Clippy! That's somebody else's, yeah. Have we got 26 winners in the room? We'll find out. A few people hang around afterwards, because if there are some of these left, some of these vouchers left, and there's still prizes to be found. Hey, Clippy! So I'll give you a couple of minutes to fill in the slips for the winners, during which time we've got time for questions. Has anybody got any questions about? Yes?
Have you heard of Brainshark?
I haven't heard of Brainshark. What's Brainshark?
Brainshark is software that you use. It's a service you use it to record, and it records your audio and video for each PowerPoint slide. So it does, each PowerPoint slide is a separate segment. So when you want to re-record, it's very easy to just re-record that one slide. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Just wondered if you kind of...
Yeah, Brainshark. Paulette, do you know if the evaluation forms are right?
They have, and you can also log back in to the online form and this will be presented.
Right, okay. Oh, they're over there, right, okay, that's brilliant. Any more? Is anybody? Yes, you've got a question.
What if you've never ever done a video before, if you're brand new to all this sort of thing and you just want to start off?
Then it really is a case of try it with PowerPoint. If you've done nothing, then take the advice from the beginning and plan. Break it down, bullet point things. Do it with just PowerPoint. That's a bullet point, that's another bullet point. And take it slowly, in short chunks, because that will help you to present more effectively.
Just a suggestion that I find it very helpful to use Word in outline mode to lay out my bullet points and my slide titles, and then you can import that into PowerPoint and convert it all into the...
Yeah, Word in outline mode, imported into PowerPoint. Good hint. Yes?
So, how long should an intro be? Like a good intro video? I've seen some that feel too long, so it goes too short. Yours feels about right. How long is it? Is it 15 seconds, 10 seconds?
I will keep my intros within 30 seconds. It rather depends. I mean, the intro will...
So you work up to a lot of small ones. I mean, if you're spending 30 seconds every time, is it too much?
Yeah, well, no, the length and the content of the intro it'll vary to naturally fit the content. And we got some grand prize winners in here. Who's won a grand prize? Has anybody won? Who's won? Has anybody? One of you has. Who's won the video camera? Come up here. Okay, so Clippy. Well done. Congratulations. Congratulations, Brad. Video camera.
Love you too, Clippy.
Copy of Sony Vegas Pro, your PAL2 business account, and Adobe will be in touch with you. We've got your email address. Yep. Adobe will be in touch with you for your Creative Cloud 12-month subscription.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, who's won it? Come up here. So, Michael, congratulations. There is your copy of Sony Vegas Pro. There is your PAL2 business account. Adobe will be in touch about your Creative Cloud subscription, and congratulations on the FusionIO. Because it is a high-end piece of kit, you actually have to let them know you own it before they let you have the drivers.
Okay.
The instructions are in there. If you have any problems, my business card is in there as well, let me know. Thank you. So, congratulations. For all the other winners, some of you will have won Sony Vegas Pro, some of you will have won Adobe Creative Cloud. Who's won Sony Vegas Pro? Woo! Let's just check. Keep your hands up. There should be 8 of you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, there's still one. There's still one out there. Oh no, hang on. Put your hands up again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's still a copy. Yeah.
The guy behind you?
Yeah, I think there's still a copy of Sony Vegas Pro out somewhere. Go hunting. Oh, no. Well, yeah, there may be. Who's won PAL2 subscription? There may still be a couple of those out as well. Oh no, 7 and 8. And who's won a subscription to Creative Cloud?
No, wait. Let me rephrase this, because somebody else won this. Does anybody want it who will use it?
I need it. I will.
Sorry.
They make a lot of videos for students. They have attention.
How to?
They really have.
So you want to pick somebody?
No? Do it. Hang on. Put your hands down. Put your hands down. All right.
I picked the number between 1 and 100.
99.
And
45. 78.
50.
42.
41.
24.
No. You got it. You're close enough. How's that?
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Andrew.
If you've won a copy of Adobe Creative Cloud, bring your ticket up. Make sure your email address is clear. Adobe will be in touch with you over the next few days. If you want a copy of Sony Vegas Pro or a PowerTune account, come and see me and I will give you your prize here and now. I want to thank you all very much for coming. You have been fantastic. I hope you have had a brilliant summit, and if you continue to have sessions today, I hope they are